What's going on, everybody? Thank you for the comedic relief. You're welcome for the comedic relief of trying to close out that last damn video.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that struggles with the Zoom application.
Lots of curse words were used. I'm looking for the taskbar. It's hiding for some reason. You know, this auto like pop up and down and got a highlight. I mean, dear God, that was a nightmare. But anyway, tons of great data in that first video. If you don't watch that, quite frankly, you don't want to succeed.
That may have been the most important video I've done or I've been a part of in
Mike,
3 years.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Mike. I mean, your 50-year spreadsheet, like that's pretty awesome. So
it's close. It's close.
I mean, honestly, Mike, if people only watch 2 videos, watch those 2.
Yeah, I agree.
Watch those 2 to understand what you're doing in today's market. But with that being said, the biggest thing about this massive process I've gone through is second appraise, the appraisers and working with appraisers. And so one of the things that I think a lot of folks honestly should be nervous about is getting the right appraiser, because that can absolutely torpedo a deal.
Yeah. And appraisers, again, we've both been doing this a long time, right? There was a time where you could pick your appraiser.
Yeah. Yeah.
People don't realize that. Back in the last real estate run up, I used the same appraiser for 90% of the deals I were in because I could pick them.
Yep.
And of course, I talked to them ahead of time. I told them what number I needed. I did all the things you probably shouldn't have been able to do, but they were legal and they were above board at the time. They were okay. Dodd-Frank, other things came in. Now you can't pick appraisers, all of that stuff. So yeah, what most people get wrong today is they don't understand a purchase appraiser versus a refi appraisal because they're different. And then they frankly trust the appraiser to do their job. That is beyond dangerous and foolish, in my opinion.
Yep. That is using hope as a strategy, which we all know is a horrible, horrible idea. So what I wanted to do was give people just kind of 3 quick tips to making sure that they're putting best foot forward with the appraiser, because now, as you were talking about before, it used to be able to select. Now it's much more of a wild card system, and it's
it has to be. Yep.
You don't have any touching of that appraiser. And in fact, the only time that you're ever going to see or talk to the appraiser is when they're there on site and when they called you to set up the time to go look at it.
Correct.
That's it. And that's only if it's a refi. If it's a purchase, they're not calling you, they're calling the listing agent. You're not even going to be there for that.
Correct.
So that's one of the scary things. So really the big 3 tips that I have is, if you're an investor and you've gone through one rental at a time, you've gone through that course. If you've gone through any course, you need to know your numbers cold, because you can't expect the appraiser to care so much about your deal that he's going to turn heaven and earth over to find the numbers that you found to make your deal.
Yeah. What I would tell people today with giving the appraisers is, if you're just doing a cookie cutter appraisal or a purchase, in a neighborhood and all the houses are the same, you're going to be fine. But that's not what we do in one rental at a time, right? If you've done any of my flips, and I talk about them all the time, right? I bought a property for 140 and sold it for 300 inside 4 months. That's going to blow an appraiser's mind. It's not seasoned. It's not 6 months. And they're not going to know what it looked like before, right? So, and then again, if you're doing a BRRRR project, I mean, it's just, don't just trust or hope, as you said, the appraiser is going to do his job because he or she's going to do his job, because no, it's on you. That is like, especially the exit. The exit is where you celebrate. That's right. And if you didn't do your work and you left it to hope, most of the time you are going to be greatly disappointed.
So that work that we do for appraisers is we take before and after pictures.
Shoot, I take before and after video.
Perfect. And especially if you come into something that's like, you can't get the value out of replacing a sewer line, but if you took video, they at least know, right? And it might help the appraisal even just a little bit, because you can say it's got brand new sewer or septic line.
Yeah.
That's something that's important, because that's something you spend $6,000 or $8,000 on that you're not getting any value out of otherwise. And if you record it, it's something great to hand over to the new owner.
Yeah. Again, like everything that I do, it's massive improvements or I'm BRRRRing out. I will take day 1 video. I will likely do a video a week. Yeah. And then the other thing that I will do is I will do a full inventory of everything we added. Full inventory. How many square feet of flooring? What was the paint? What was the sink? What was the tile? I will list out like a full bill of materials.
Yes.
Now, I won't put in prices. I will let the appraiser do the prices, but I want them to know, like, if my goal anytime I do it is more than a page. That's my selfish goal. I will actually change the font if I have to, but I want more than a page of stuff that I've done, because I want the appraiser to flip, right? I mean, that's what I'm going for, right? Sometimes it's, 2.5 pages, but yeah, I do everything I can to make sure the appraiser knows everything we did.
The other thing that's important there, Mike, is you don't put prices in. This is really, really, really important, because they are lazy appraisers out there, and you know who you are, Brian. There are lazy appraisers, Brian, you bastard. So there are these lazy appraisers out there, and he says, oh, well, so how much money did you spend on that? And then they figure cost of what you bought it for plus what you spent. And then they give a little bit more on top, like they're tipping you.
Yeah, it's like, oh, here's 8% for your effort. Yeah,
I will punch you in the throat. Yeah. Do not do that. And so don't put your prices in there, because they will just give you basically cost plus and then give you a tip. Yeah. That's not how it works.
No.
I always tell them, it doesn't matter what I did. Tell me what this is worth if I tried to sell it today based on what you're seeing, because you're also the first one to tell me that if it's not done, I can't count it. So then if it's done, you just need to count it and figure it out from there. Yeah. Second thing that I also do, especially when it's a refi, is, or even when it's a sale, is showing them the market rents. And basically you can use Dion Financial Talk binder method. Yeah. You can use it for this too, but I actually take the time to look at other rents and give them rents. For me, what's really nice is I own 70 units in my market.
And growing.
So exactly. And growing. And so I can actually give them numbers and addresses in the same stinking neighborhoods.
And leases if you had to.
Exactly. And provide leases. So again, first thing is, if you're doing any work to that property, you must document it, build out a spreadsheet, show everything that you did, and do not put prices in. Second thing is, do the rent work for them. Show them the rents. Show them what you're getting for rent in like properties, and provide them pictures so they can see it's a like rent. Totally because agree. They can look up the address. And the third thing and the last thing is, if it is a sale, you need to be doing the comp work yourself and doing the adjustments yourself, because they might not even look at the 3 properties that you're looking at, but you need to still provide those 3 properties. In these refis that we just did, they listed 5 properties, but anywhere from 2 to 3 of the properties that they provided were ones that we provided them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because this is so important, because if you come back with a bad appraisal, yes, you can technically fight them, but it is hard. The only time I've ever won an appraisal like that is where they appraised a property that was wrong.
Yes.
Right. Not the right square footage, or heaven forbid, had some other oddity that they just didn't know the area. It doesn't happen that you won't win in a refi appraisal. You might win a purchase appraisal, but don't count on it. It's not fun, and it's exhausting.
Very exhausting process. So make sure you follow those 3 tips. Again, they are going to absolutely give you the best chance to win on a for sale appraisal if you're selling the place or if you are renting it. Mike,
doing these things, you're going to, you're risking, if you don't do them, you're risking thousands of dollars. So do the work.
Tens of thousands. I mean, these are, and the worst part is you're likely and largely stuck with that appraisal for at least 6 months, if not a year. If it's FHA, it's a year.
It's a year. Yeah.
So please keep that in mind. So as I always like to say, we spend a lot of time putting amazing content together for you. Please make sure you subscribe, whether you're watching this on Lumberjack Landlord or watching this on One Rental at a Time. Mike, how can everybody find you, just to make sure?
Go to Google search bar, type in One Rental at a Time. You should see a book, YouTube, Instagram, and website. It's all there, readily available, 4,636 videos for your viewing pleasure. Yeah, Mike, have fun keeping up. Yeah, exactly. Mike, thanks so much for the time. Talk in segment 3. Yep.